Hello, welcome to the Commentary Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to give you a horror classic. This is the last day of October. I believe Halloween is Halloween today or yesterday. I'm so stupid, I've lost track of time. But this is the last day, and I figured I would do at least one horror review. Haven't really been able to get into it. I was going to do a whole thing this October, but of course you guys know the tragedy that kind of struck me with my mom and whatnot, so I've kind of been distracted from doing a lot of things. But I did want to get this one in because my horror classic today is Paranormal Activity. Honestly, I think Paranormal Activity, it doesn't get as much credit as it deserves. We're such prisoners of the moment. We're prisoners of the moment. We're prisoners of the now. Paranormal Activity is now just terrible. The movies are terrible. The cheapness has finally gotten to these films. The reactions and whatnot, all of it is kind of stupid. There's only one thing from Paranormal Activity 1, and I actually like Paranormal Activity 2, but after that it gets kind of stupid. But there's one called the Marked Ones, and I remember watching this with my friend Willie, and it was so hilarious. There's a certain sequence where there's these two Latino kids, they get these girls at this party, they actually come out with them, and they go back to this house, and they're just screwing around in this house, and at a certain point, the main character, who's the marked one, he's upstairs with this beautiful Latino girl, and creepy shit happening. And it's like, huh, okay, and he's having a reaction that I would. He's like, oh shit, what the fuck? Yeah, we need to get the fuck out of here. So he goes to get the girl, and he turns around, and she's taking off her clothes. And she looks him dead in the eyes and says, fuck me. And he had the reaction that I would have had in that very moment. See spooky shit going on, all this other stuff, and just turn around, she's taking her clothes off saying, fuck me. I'd have been like, same reaction. For real? I'll never forget that shit. Me and Willie just die laughing. I'm just like, what? Really? I mean, yeah, but I mean, shit. The confliction, just like, that shit was hilarious. Other than that, all those Paranormal Activity movies sucked. But the first one was actually one of the groundbreaking ideas. I mean, Blumhouse Studios. I mean, this movie is basically the poster child for Blumhouse. And if you know Blumhouse, they make shit ton of horror movies. They pretty much revamped the horror genre in a way, or at least they started pushing it more. I mean, you get other things like a Conjuring and stuff, but Blumhouse is really pushing it. Does Blumhouse do the Conjuring movies? I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, Blumhouse was really pushing it, and these films were made for. So honestly, the Paranormal Activity franchise itself is it's probably, outside of something like a Marvel Studios, the most profitable movie studio on the planet. I mean, think about it. They made Paranormal Activity for nothing. An equivalence of what, $5 million, maybe less than that, maybe a tiny bit more. The movie went on to make $400 million on a budget of $15 million, and that's adding marketing. And it's that's become Blumhouse's thing. Paranormal Activity is the poster boy for the Blumhouse style film of making horror films. But more to that point, it took the found footage genre, which had been kind of run into the dirt with, how am I forgetting? The Blair Witch, which, that had kind of been run, the Blair Witch, created it to the point where shit had sites and shit. But Paranormal Activity took a different approach to the found footage genre, and it ended up being such an intriguing, such an exciting idea. This concept of because I don't know if it's because you're seeing the footage and it looks like real camera footage that you would see on someone's private security camera or something. So it feels like you're looking in on this family as they are being tormented by this spirit. And they did such a great job, at least in that first Paranormal Activity. I love that first Paranormal Activity. I know some people make fun of that franchise now, but personally, I thought that the things they did, especially with the subtleties. Paranormal Activity made what you didn't see. That's the thing. I don't remember, before Paranormal Activity, it was mostly all about the blunt horror, the jump scares. Paranormal Paranormal Activity was the first one that I remember, at least in top of my mind when I was younger, seeing the subtleties. Did that thing move? Did it not move? Did that sheet just wrinkle? Like subtle, small things that happen and it just builds up over the movie and builds up over the movie. Small, subtle stuff that you can believe could be rooted off. That you can believe could be brushed off. Small, subtle stuff you believe inside. Like if that had happened to me, like say you went to bed at night and you remember putting your phone on the table and you remember putting your phone, like, I don't know, on the table, and you wake up and the phone is right next to you. Shit like that. Or like, oh, you went to sleep with two pillows and you wake up and you're on one pillow. You don't remember that. You know, like subtle shit that you wouldn't remember. And I thought Paranormal Activity did such a great job at pushing that narrative and the slow build over the course of the film of them realizing something is going wrong. And honestly, it was such a massive thing. Like, there's a reason that franchise, I remember when I was younger and that franchise came out, it was such the talk of the town. It was the most talked about fucking thing at the moment. Like, everyone talked about Paranormal Activity because they did so much with so little. Paranormal Activity is an example. And if you go back, if there's a documentary on Netflix called Movies That Made Us, and they talk about certain Halloween films, certain films like, you know, like Halloween and Freddy Krueger and stuff, and you realize when you're watching a lot of those films that are like these big time movies, most of them didn't have a budget. Most of them, they had to do something. They had to make it work with what they had. And Paranormal Activity, making it work with the budget. So since they couldn't show certain things, they had to play with the suspense of not seeing certain things. And them getting so creative with that, like I said, this is an unpopular opinion. I believe it's an unpopular opinion. But Paranormal Activity is a horror classic. It's a film that will be remembered. It will be remembered. It will be remembered as one of the pioneers of an entire subgenre. It'll be remembered as something that was like one of the most profitable films ever made. And it will be remembered as a film that captured the audience of the time it came out. Like this movie was the most talked about thing for years. It was one of the most talked about horror movies for years. And I know some people find it boring, some people want a little bit more, but the subtleties of Paranormal Activity, the creepiness, the real reactions, just this different approach to it that hadn't been done at the time and really hasn't been done as good as that first Paranormal Activity since, in my personal opinion. I give Paranormal Activity as a horror movie, it's an 8.5 for me. As a movie, it's an 8. I think Paranormal Activity is a damn good film. I think it's a damn good horror film. I think it's doing something different than horror was doing at the time. And it's one of the most profitable, most well-known films of all time. So thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please do like, subscribe. And what did you think about the Paranormal Activity franchise and the first film? What did you think about those films? Do you think the film will be remembered positively, or have the sequels kind of like completely taken the steam and everything out of the original film? Comment below, let me know. Thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please do like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.